They have Pence, and of course they still have Blanco as insurance. Their infield is looking very good and very strong.
Yeah. Brandon Crawford is now an all-star. He's always one of the best defensive shortstops in the league, and now he's an offensive force too. Panic, only getting better, also very good defensively.
Duffy, big breakout candidate last year.
Yeah, the Giants are looking good next year.
Belt, Posey, of course their rotation.
Yeah. Is Romo staying?
Yep.
So Romo's staying, and they've got Casilla to close.
Javier Lopez, George Contos, Hunter Strickland, who's also only getting better. Of course, it's an even year, so.
Yeah, so I wouldn't bet against the Giants next year. I think the Giants will be better than the Dodgers next year. But it is going to be a tough division. I guess the Rockies are the team that are sort of tanking, right? They're offering all their outfielders. So people are speculating whether Cargo will get traded and whether Charlie Blackmon.
Of course, after they added Para, they now have one too many.
That's right. So they've got to trade someone. The Marlins are a mess in the East, as usual, although they did come to terms finally with Jose Fernandez, and it looks like they're not trading him. Oh, what happened, Jamie?
No idea.
Okay,
we're back. Okay. So, Marlins, of course, I don't know why they gave up Henderson Alvarez. Question.
And people are talking to them about their young outfielder. What's his name? The guy who got sent down.
Oh yeah, Marcel Ozuna.
Yeah, Ozuna.
It's they signed Wei-Yin Chen recently. It's a bit surprising given their feud with Scott Boras. But they signed Wei-Yin Chen, and of course, a big deal, 5 years, $90 million, I believe, something like that. For a reliable lefty, and of course, Scott Boras is right in there with him. So we'll see how he does. He's probably one of the more underrated starters in baseball last season. 11-8 with a 3.34 ERA, and so we'll see how that pans out. So, but I think the Marlins still need a year or two to reshore up.
Yeah, so I think it's 50-50 whether the Mets are going to be a playoff team next year. But we have hope. Let's hope we can get Cespedes.
Yep.
All right. I don't know if we have time to talk about the American League this time, Jamie, do we?
We can quickly sum it up with the American League.
Yeah, I guess the Yankees made a couple surprising moves. They signed Chapman, even though they already have Betances, so that's going to be an Andrew Miller, so that's going to be like 3 amazing closers. I guess they're going down the Royals' plan of having like shortening the game to 6 innings.
Yep.
And they traded for Castro, who is going to play second for them, right?
Yep.
I think basically the Yankees' problem is they've got a bunch of old guys who, with huge contracts, are blocking things up. Like Greg Bird, who looks like a breakout candidate, he's being blocked by Mark Teixeira and at DH by A-Rod, of course.
So the Red Sox, of course, big offseason, projects to win around 92 games. I think they're the team to beat in the AL East. The Blue Jays, again, strong offense. They lost Price, big loss. Pitching will become key for Lum. Quick rundown, AL. That'll probably be the 3 top teams. The Orioles, of course, signed Chris Davis. Rotation is still a mess. I don't see them competing next season. Of course, Buck Showalter could prove me wrong.
Mm-hmm. The Red Sox, the big pitching acquisitions, of course, David Price, probably the best pitcher on the market, and they trade for Craig Kimbrell, so they've solved their closer problems.
And then once you have that, and then once you add in The Rays, great pitching, still need offense. I don't think they're competing next year. The AL Central, the Indians, great rotation. Michael Brantley, once he gets back, their offense will be good. I think they are one of the dark horse candidates in the AL Central to win it. Of course, the Royals, defending champs, recently signed Ian Kennedy, 5 years, $70 million.
Re-signed Alex Gordon.
Re-signed Alex Gordon, and they're
Lost Ben Zobrist, but otherwise they're looking pretty strong.
looking pretty strong. And then the Tigers, of course, they signed Jordan Zimmerman very early in the offseason. They're also in the mix for Yoenis Cespedes right now, so we'll see what he does. But of course, their offense with full season of Miggy and Ian Kinsler. They're
and an old owner who's going to do whatever he can to win right now.
Even though and of course they traded for K-Rod, should shore up their bullpen, which has always been a problem.
Right, can't count them out.
Everyone thought they were going to go into rebuild mode, but
how about the White Sox?
Todd Frazier, that's a big blockbuster for Lum. I think with Todd Frazier, of course, it shores up their offense. Their lineup is still full of questions. Of course, their big season, signing last offseason of Melky Cabrera. This big disappointment in his first season, but looking at Melky Cabrera's trend line, he's always had one mediocre season, one good season. So maybe he'll have a good season next year. Of course, they still have their bullpen, David Robertson. The rest of the bullpen's kind of question mark at this point. The rotation, Chris Sale, Carlos Rondon, and Jose Quintanilla, who is probably one of the more underrated lefties, can form a big three-headed lefty monster at the top. So can't count them out as well. Of course, they're the Twins. Surprised everyone last year, and they're just getting better. Their rotation still maybe needs one or two more pitchers. Lacks an ace, but once they get that, they will be contenders as well. So the AL Central is a very strong division. It's just so much like the NL Central is with the Cardinals, Cubs, and Pirates. Now, moving on to the AL West, you have the A's, who have really revamped their bullpen after losing the most one-run games last year. So their run differential was actually pretty good, but their record is not reflecting that, mainly because of their bullpen really went and overhauled that. Traded Brett Lawrie away. They have Danny Valencia's slot at third base. And
kept Sonny Gray, who was rumored to be on the block.
So that's that. The A's looking like pretty good. They signed Rich Hill, who had a good September stretch with the Red Sox. So see how that pans out for them. Can't count the A's out. Of course, the Rangers, the AL West champs last year, getting everyone back from injuries, so they'll be strong again. Of course, Yu Darvish back, and Cole Hamels. That forms a very lethal front of the rotation. And then you have the Mariners, who made the most offseason moves under their new GM, who came over from the Angels after being dismissed over a dispute with Mike Scioscia. So we'll see. He's completely revamped the lineup and the rotation and their bullpen. See how that pans out for them as well. They should be looking pretty strong after missing out on the playoffs despite being the favorites to win the AL West last year. So maybe they'll end their drought this year. Of course, the other teams remaining in the AL West, the Astros, looking very strong with their young stars. They finally burst out last year, and I expect them to be even better this year. So the AL West is actually looking quite strong as well. Of course, the Angels, who have a lot of big, and Mike Trout.
Yeah, the Astros actually getting eliminated in heartbreaking fashion last year. Huh?
Yes. By the Royals.
Okay, I think our time's about up, Jimmy.
So, yeah, that's about it from us here at the Kingdom. Once again, thanks for listening, and let's go Mets.